That's the key thing, right? Like, when you take a look at a series like this, you take a look at the underdog's map pick and you think, at minimum, you have to win that map. And the fact they didn't do that here on Vista, the fact it was such a struggle, like, all of these factors play into each other, knowing the Sinners have got such a great position now to work from having their opponent's map picking for them, a great map of their own right here for their own pick. Ancient's going to be tough, absolutely tough for Vista to take, and you can already see how it starts off in the pistol. Oscar with that P250 straight to PHR's head. Got Marcos alone towards Donut. Hard stack, rotate back in for the rest of the CT forces, and the P2K will try to get a pick away, but he's forced away by the smokes as the CT's converging upon the site. They lose a lot of HP.
And it all just comes down now to the next pick, and actually Neofrag just dies straight through the smoke. Shock is being able to deal with that rotate, so getting that Donut entrance down to himself.
All important, 4-on-3, making it 3-on-3 as Goofy frags back on Oscar. Shock turns around one good frag. Beast again follows suit against the Julius Jedka, and Sparrow is all that remains. 1-on-3, well away from the site. Back over at Temple. We'll try push forward against the likes of B-Stick and the USPs. The Glock's held out. Slaps his man, taps him in the back of the head. Zedko credited with the kill. Pistol game for Sinners.
It all just comes down to that overly aggressive move. Out at A main, doesn't quite come through for PHR, and everyone on the side is just peeking on each other's contact. For a moment, when it gets back to a 3-on-3, you think this looks decent. Shock somehow gets a kill through that Donut smoke, and then there they just start wasting time. A lot of MAC-10s coming through from Sinners, and a few scouts coming through from Wisla.
False issue from both sides. Sinners want to get the money, Wisla want to get the rounds. Low head Kevlar though, so the MAC-10s are going to be very effective on the part of the T-side at camp. Scouting for PHR will look down range C1. Catch that tag on Shock, that's a decent enough start, but the AK can pass off to a MAC-10 so easily.
Yeah, you'd have to imagine so. And for Sinners, they've got a lot of util. They can just be exec, go into this bomb side. Wisla need an opening kill. They need to find some opening damage. Try and see if they can deny that bomb going down if possible.
Blind bullets firing through smoke. Scooby going to try and deny with the bomb plant. And the Deagle will tap and spam its way forward. PHR will get one frag on Shock, and they will hear the player coming in from Cheetah, but they're already aware of what's going on. PHR gets the kill for this smoke. Okay, that's near a frag to fall. Zedko going to lean in and try to grab that rifle if at all possible. Two low HP players present themselves, and he gets both of those frags on Oscar. Goofy turns back to a 1 versus 1. No defuse kit on him. He knows that Oscar's somewhere out towards the right lane. Deagle wraps the corner. Does catch Oscar indeed, and with 15 seconds, he's got time with the defuse. This is going to be a steal round for Wisla.
Yeah, great round to come in for Goofy, and it just sets it up again that we get into a nature of a lot of clutches coming through from both of these teams. And right there, players being on rotate incredibly quickly, not enough multi-frags being found, and even just that MAC-10 running very far forward into that cave position rather than just stalling the time. And Wisla, they're able to get a response.
Now 1-1 to the board. Sinners already pushed on the back foot in the rebuy, of course. Going to be a little bit weaker than Vista Krakow's M4 buys. And remember that Ancient is a very CT-sided map. We saw the graph at the start of the day, and we've seen how the patches have made things a bit more CT-sided for them. So Vista, at least they have an opportunity to get an early start here. If they can make this CT half work for them, there's a chance they could still make it look decent against Sinners, even if they don't win the map outright.
Yeah, even against the Fiend result for Wisla in that upper bracket semi-final game, they had, what, 16-8 overall, and they had a 14-1 CT side. It was unbelievable. Again, it was a very shaky-looking Fiend, definitely not the one that we saw this morning. Does that result pay any sort of account into what we're seeing today? Well, for Sinners, they're actually getting some very deep mid-control. They've managed to get Shock all the way in candles.
Tags over on Jedka to start things off, and the blind fray from Goofy comes up against Neofrag nicely. Frag found, Shock will lean in from candles, hope to catch a player off if at all possible. That gun for Neofrag should get recovered as well on the part of B-Stick, so the main rifles will stay in play as Sinners set up for the A-hit.
It all just comes down now to the readability. Zedko with his deagle does not spot out the player towards the back of the big box that's playing just outside of that temple position. That could be the M4 cutting them off.
Great through for Marcos, comes up with a kill on Zedko, continuing to look back and forth for T-side members. Right, he's catching one out towards Donut, not seeing the player over at main. Goofy finally gets caught by Shock in at candles, and the AKs continue to find the frags, but PHR continues to find responses. 16 seconds. Sparrow coming in towards mid, not heard off by Shock. Shock's going to have to press the issue. He's low HP, and PHR knows it, looking for Oscar next. Taps on the first headshot, can't quite find that second kill, and now bomb plant to be secured. Open towards Donut, it's going to be easy for Sparrow. Frag on, easy as seconds to the board of Vista.
Just wasting time. Goofy with the spam. Great attempt to start off. That would have been incredibly frustrating from Neofrag. And Marcos just playing behind the big box. Does overextend for a moment. PHR just holding, just wasting time, getting a couple of kills. And that backstab play from Sparrow to regress into lane and be able to wrap in from Donut was really what made that round winnable.
Down to the eco we go for Sinners. Fast play in towards the A site. PHR might get overwhelmed with the numbers game here. He's capturing off 1 and 2 players. Overwhelmed by the numbers in the end, but 3 casualties taken back against the T side line. Making it forward. Jedka comes in with support from Donut. 1 M4 picked up by Oscar. Let's see if he can get a second kill on the way out of this round. And yeah, Marcos will get found, so there's a little bit more. Overall damage is not going to be massive against the Vista side. 3-1 at the start. Sinners on the rifle buy.
He's talk about the 6-map winning streak to come in for Sinners on this map of Ancient. Maybe the third, or the first 3 results at least, aren't really that impressive. Blue Jays, For Glory, Hereds. Okay, there's some alright teams, nothing that special. Then you start talking about Furia. You talk about 1 win, Endpoint. These are some big name teams that can play some solid CS. So knowing that's the last 3 results all being wins for Sinners, it looks good, at least on the stat line. And geez, it looks good with the aggression.
Smash forward, AK in, sprays good for Zedco, catches PHR, again, fast plays for Sinners into the A site, this time with a weapon advantage, but it doesn't last for long. Zedco forced to trade back to evens at a 3-on-3, bomb dropped in the open as well, the CTs are aware of this. 1 player looking to press forward out towards the Donut entrance, Jedka caught off by B-Stick, Oscar's watching Donut, and Goofy will get caught, so will Sparrow, and Sinners will find their second round.
And it makes you think about how CT side and Ancient is and go, is it? Because that was such a great side take, wasn't it? The way they used the util, the pace they had out of A main, and honestly, that may be for the average viewer at home the only time we see an A main exit, because we don't see many of them.
Sinners springing to life once again here against the Vista side. Vista are still keeping it close, it's still 3-2. Rebuys in, the force invest of the CT forces back out towards the lane and mid defaults, and the mid default will work well for Oscar, finding Goofy straight up at Candles, opening frag, and no one else presents themselves. The CT's back off.
And now it's starting to flow, isn't it? Just the tempo to come through from Sinners, the likability with some of these opening man advantages. Neofrag, when does he start spamming forward? Seems as if he was waiting for that opportunity of maybe a spam back. Doesn't quite happen at all. And Shock is in Candles again, Jay.
Well enough for him last time around. Let's see if he can work well for it this time. PHR is being backed up by Sparrow, though, so it might not be as easy as it might initially indicate for the AK. M4 starts to lean forward. Shock. Oh, pixels away. I don't think either player saw each other, though. That might be crucial information for the T side to continue holding. PHR might pop out of left field and might literally surprise the Sinners camp. Swing back, and finally Shock gets his kill.
Now, anytime you get into Candles, patience is going to be your key. And for Marcos with the scout, just hoping to do as much damage in as possible. They know exactly where he is. He's getting overwhelmed, even getting pre-aimed in from Zedco. And yeah, being dealt with. They've got to kind of save onto their weapons. They can't go for this.
Yeah, they picked up a player out towards that CT spawn. There's an SMG that was dropped out by the T side line. It's 1 casualty taken by Sinners versus the 3 that Vista have found on that bite. It was already shaken to begin with. They've got to try and save, but the hunt's on, and Beast is going to catch them both. Easy pickings for him, and Vista capitulate 3-all to the board, and there's no money for Vista to buy.
And that was another great round. And Sinners, they're bringing more over to the A side. They're realizing some of the weakness in that defense. You speak about the money situation, it's ruined. There really is nothing to work with going into round 7. And this allows Sinners to just get some comfortability, start working a streak, and building up a lead.
Orpin of Oscar. Caught on Goofy. AK of Shock. Shots continuing back and forth between these 2 players. Oscar makes it a triple. Shock makes it a double. Simple stuff against the pistols. No casualties. No damage taken by Sinners at all. But it was a throwaway round for Vista. They get right back up on the guns.
And I start wondering to myself, do you reckon there's any tier 1 teams out there that are now looking at Sinners and looking at Oscar and think, man, we should have just picked him up after he was on Hellraisers and Sprout. Like, because he was hanging around for a while after Sprout. I think he played, with Selector for a little bit before realizing, okay, maybe I don't have many opportunities. I'm going to go down to the local scene. And then bang, he was just right up at the top again.
top here for the Sinners side in this matchup as well, 4-3. That map in hand already. On level of dominance very early on in this map up. Can they keep it? It has been a little bit touch and go when it comes to their round streak so far. Wisla on their buyout will still lose that opening pick. Again, the orb of Oscar can strike, not get that second kill. But now there's a man in the back corridors.
You can't afford to make over-rotates without util up against a team like Sinners, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to get caught off. They've now got a lurk out from Donut, which does get read by Marcos. B is completely open. They could just get the bomb down.
Smoke siphons off one entryway. Sparrow's going to be a bit more of a problem. He's going to get smoked off in his own right. B-Stick seen close, and that allows the kills to come in alongside Marcos, finding the lurker out towards mid. So suddenly, what was an advantage in an open site turns into a 4-on-2 retake. Very plausible for the CT side, but Oscar's flicks continue to impress. Unfortunately, his teammates don't. Neofrag is down, and Oscar going to find a new line back into the site. Swing upon Marcos. AWP is going to be quick to the mark, and it's not going to happen. Quick kill of the M4, grabs the AWP, triple up for Markov and defuse for Mr. Krakow.
Yeah, he's been incredible so far, but to try and get him to win a 1v4 in that situation, probably a stretch of imagination too far. And that retake on Spiro, I like the aggressive move. Just as he sees that smoke being deployed, okay, I'm going to make something of it. Before that smoke blooms, I want to try and take a fight, and my goodness, it just prevents itself straight away, doesn't it? The guy's standing right in front of the smoke.
Yeah, 4-all. Sinners again not being able to get away with much here against the Vista City side. How City dominant have these two maps been so far here in this series? Like,
yeah.
1-for-1 trades out. At least Sinners keep pacing with the AWP, and there's no obvious signs of Vista just pulling ahead of Sinners at this moment. He's continuing to work out their defaults. M4 at PHR sees one player coming out of the main angle over on A. Flashes and nades go back and forth. Damage done to Zedco. It's a 4v4 still.
It all just comes down now to a walk setup for Sinners. Try and see if there's an angle of approach that they can bait in a peek. Walk forward into cave. Haven't really seen this area of the map finding too much action, which is surprising when we think about the ancient games we've seen in this event so far, where it feels like all the action is in cave.
So many B defaults, and this time Oscar's going to turn it into a kill. Wrap in towards wood. Check out the totem. How far does he extend? He's not going to go outside a cave just yet. Smoke off that left lane. It's appropriate to do so. Goofy got to get checked all the way. They've got to go so deep into the site and so deep into that angle to catch him off. The M4 tries to extend a little bit further out, and the AK has his eye. Sprays a little bit awkward. The AWP can try just towards it, and is blind fire on the wallbangs, attempting to get the kills against the man. Flashbang's turned away from Gap in that smoke, and finally Oscar can get the kill. And with that casualty, Wisla throwing the towel, holding to the weapons. Again, have no chance to retake against Sinners.
Yeah, Oscar is pretty much hitting everything. And that is an incredible sight for Sinners. It is a massive worry if you're Wisla, if you're a player, if you're a fan, because when Oscar gets going, he's a very difficult player to contain. What do? More util, more over-aggression, you might just keep feeding him. And this is something where we have to look at the likes of Sparrow and say, okay, mate, what's going on in that noggin? What are we going to see from you to be able to deal with Oscar? Because if they don't deal with him, he could drop near 30 kills in this half.
Now, Sinners up to their 5th lead gained once again. Vista have been pretty good at responding towards these leads, though, and bringing us back to an even standing or thereabouts. With 2 weapons saved, it should bolster up a buy to be respectable if forced. Actually going to go halfsies in with these Deagles, so they'll have cash out for the next round to rebuy with. Well, on paper, that should lead to Sinners having their sick. They still got an M4 and North to deal with. That M4's aggressing and all.
Zedko's waiting for the overpeak, and there it is. As soon as one of those weapons drops, the round is just less likely to come in.
Wow.
Zedko gets a double entry, and, well, that's the round over, isn't it?
You know, even Jedka with his sacrificial Deagle wants to really aggress out here at Temple. Gonna get posted by Zedko, looks for his triple. Not quite gonna work out for him, that's one casualty. Might spur the CTs into action, but the Orpa and Marcos is just looking to save back here at Cave and Cheetah. Then eventually Jedka does get Molotov the way. Grab that Creek, best they can save.
Yeah. An exit kill, further damage being done. Jedka trying to hope to get away. Sparrow gets caught off by B-Stick, so in-game leader versus in-game leader in that duel. And Marcos is just trying to hope that his teammate can get out of there. Sinner's getting up to 6. Wisla, knowing the amount of CT rounds they got against Fiend, it doesn't even feel like they're going to get anywhere close to that. Even pushing it close to 9 rounds, I think is going to be difficult. I can't see this being very successful in this first half.
No. Me neither. Let's have guns out here for the... I know, right?
Yeah.
What a shock.
Shock like shock?
To be fair, it's not that uncommon, is it? Like...
No, not really. I mean, yeah, go on.
I think the most contentious thing we've ever had, like the most thing we disagree on the most, is how good Fnatic are. Like, that's it. That's it.
Now, who are we throwing under the bus in that one?
Save that conversation for another day. Kill found on Shock as Wisla start things off on the right foot is Jedka. Out towards mid, I think he abused the gap in that smoke that was out towards the candles position. Now that kill's coming towards bottom of mid and nades on towards Neo. Frag is going to evade it. Beast kind of working against Goofy. If they can swing together, they can crossfire and trade us back to evens again.
I like the intent to fight for an opening man advantage. Just realize that maybe getting aggressive is the nature of the beast. Goofy gonna get flashed off. Do they even pre-aim this left-hand side? Easy pick comes. That bomb being dropped. Nearfrag has to try and trade, and at least he does so.
Krieg still working in against Sparrow. Krieg v Krieg action here between the CT and T sides. Molotov's ahead. Sparrow's not going to be allowed to move from his position. The bomb's trying to press up towards that B site. And it's the IWP and Marcos that will win against Neofrag. Oscar with a responsive. Zedko can't hold on here. And that bomb now in CT control. Does get grabbed by Oscar, including the AWP. And now it's going to be detected that he picked that bomb up. So now he's going to work in towards Candles. Try to cut him off at the feet here. And yeah, Sparrow will get that kill in the end. We grab that AWP and all. The 5th round will go towards the favor of Wisla. I think he just caught it in time.
Yeah, I think you're right. Goofy being able to just waste time. Sparrow peeking on the contact when that smoke starts to dissipate, and Oscar struggling to find much with the AWP at all. So we'll see Wisla being able to bring one AWP forward for Marcos and that Krieg in for Sparrow. The Sinners haven't seen a lot of pace out to the B side. This could be the round they change it.
Fast into lane, fast up ramp, nades on, dishing out some damage, a little bit of vision blindness, a shot will catch Sparrow, Marcos to reposition, but the smoke catches him as well. There's one trade from Goofy responded to by Zedko super duper quick. You were right about this. Zedko on 1 point of HP at Neofrag with the frag nade. Will deal with Jedka, the nades on site will not catch Zedko still. And PHR and Marcos again set for the save here. Sinners so quick into the B site, and well, it came out of nowhere. It was surprising for Vista as much as it was for us.
Yeah, and that's some of the versatility and the setups that some of these teams have at the high end of Tier 2 is they've got such a deep strat book to work with on maps that they like that you can see something you would never expect. And in that one right there, we've seen the quick array stuff, we've seen the walks, we've seen the passiveness, we've seen a lot of candles control, haven't seen a lot of pace over to B at all, and then all of a sudden, it's just a rush. They just come straight up out of the gate, get that immediate entry from Shock, we then see further kills, and even though the utility usage does a lot of chunk damage, it's not finding picks.
Also, investment will come through for Wisla now. CT side. Where do they go with this? Much more aggressive in the mid control initially. You're going to try and counter-rotate via the donut position. Again, it's going to be a bit more spread out on the defaults this time for the T side. Not quite as quick as last time around. Certainly won't swap sites on the rush tactics. The AWP is just going to back up passive as Oscar tries to play into the B site.
Haven't seen Oscar find a pick in a while, so it is making me very hungry for a pick for Oscar, and I'm sure it is for him too. The Sinners do have that single lurk of Zedko out to this A main position. Very silent and an immediate change of pace from the rush to go back to something slow.
Being thrown out here at Cave, and Sinners playing slow as you mentioned. Careful positioning. PHR going to back up towards that A site. T side player starting to form on the split. They've got to deal with Jedka here at Donut, and that's going to be the main concern. Goofy and outside of the back of the site is going to be first contact, and they just feed themselves towards him. Jedka will get caught by B-Stick, but the smokes are in for the CT forces. Two of them to separate them from Donut into the site itself. Oscar's Orb can strike on one rotator, so 3 on 3, but they've got to get into the site.
And they've still got a lot of time. 35 seconds left. They've got a smoke. They've got a flash. They can set themselves up. They've even got the Orb to peek back in. Neofrag struggling. Does a lot of damage. They might not expect another player out from main for B-Stick to get a couple of kills. And now Spiro's got to try and clutch.
Coming in from mid, Bomb could still be denied if the timing's right for him. He's got to plant safe. I think he knows that the mid could be the play from Donut. Bomb gets tapped and stuck this time. Spiro can't deny it. He's creeping up closer. The AWP's got no way back in, but now he's so far away as B-Stick ends up falling as a 1v1, but that bomb's planted perfectly for the AWP. Is there a smoke on from Spiro? Can he get out the utility basis? He's going to try and tap it. Force him out on the defuse. Scopes in. He gets off of it and fakes in towards that tight gap. 10 seconds, 5 seconds. Defuse being stuck. Defuse being stuck. Spiro's not being peeked upon. Oscar's going to let it go. So he will get the kill after time, and the round goes the way of Wisla.
Yeah, unfortunately that bomb's not planted for him. So even if he extends forward, there's a chance that Spiro taps that bomb and just draws the fight. So he knows, I'm hoping that he fakes it for a second time, and then I can start making a move forward when the time expires itself. That whole round came down to a couple of important kills in from Goofy, and then information just not really being there. It seems as if finally there's a recovery in the round for B-Stick to find 3 kills, 2 on the side, and then Oscar, that bomb's just not for him. Can't really do much about it. At least makes the round expensive.
Sprays on Jedka, catching Neofrag, dishing out the damage to him at 15 points of health already. Smokes on, Molotovs up, Goofy. Pushed away, sprays back, B-Stick. Not caught with kills as of right now. They'll try to boost him up, though. Chance available for a kill back for the T side? No, it goes the way of the Wisla side.
They could have boosted up the high HP player. Instead, they boost up Neofrag, and it's a pretty easy pick for Goofy. More counter utility comes through. They want to try and get another fight forward. Another flash over the top. Goofy, ooh, doesn't quite find that third. Damage has been done.
5 on 3 scenario. Marcos facing back in against Shock, tagged up to 8 points of health. East side players counteract their way back into the main position. The wrap's over. Try play towards the A side, but so far so little. Sinners so tagged up and still down by 2 men.
Yeah, they need a play, and just the walkout could be the option. And PHR is just jiggling up on this signpost. Doesn't have a massive amount of help that can come through. Marcos will be the quickest one on rotate from Donut.
M4 in, turn away from, still waiting for utility to come back. Zedko's caught utility in hand. Shot Geedy full, triple up for PHR. And Wisla with 7-all to the board. Sinners now being equalised by the CT Forces. Can they make it one more to turn the half to their favour?
I start wondering to myself, was it just all Oscar? You have a look at some of the kill numbers to come in from Sinners, and it is poor for quite a lot of them on T side. Oscar's putting up 27 and 21 and 7, I believe it is. So he's definitely high up there in the clouds. Everyone else, though, probably need to see more from them.
Shot on for Neofrag. Kill on. Second kill for Marcos as well. Shot fragged out and makes it a triple. The Sinners feed themselves to the CT side. And one by one they fall. Oscar with an impossible clutch to hold here. The AWP in his hands. Info on no CTs. Wraparounds coming in from Cannell. Should be able to close out his window in this round itself. Spiro just waiting for his opportunity. When does the flashbang go over? Right about now. The AWP has already snuck his way forward. Hold on. Shot back. Eventually they turn towards it. Sneaky plays. If only it worked out that way. But not to be in the end. 8-7 up for Wisla Krakow as they turn over the CT side and go to the T-half after the break.
Honestly, Jay, I'd call that a slight recovery to come through from Wisla. Yeah, maybe it's not a massive amount of rounds to work with going into their second half. It's still a lead, even if it's minimal.
Still going to be a task and a half to take two on the T-side line. Sinners now to their better half, as has been throughout the course of this entire series, I want to say. Such CT-sided baseness over on Overpass, and now to do the exact same thing. Wisla, only one round separates them and Sinners. Will Sinners run away with it from here on out? They've got the P2K setting the pistol round Jedka, wrapping on the corner of Oscar. They will overwhelm with a numbers game. Hard wraps back in with the CT players. Oh, shot gets tapped up by Jedka, making it a double and a 5-on-3 retake.
A couple of banging entries in from Jedka. Zeko trying to see if he can answer back. PHR only allowing him to get that one and even siphons off the next player. What a pestol round in from Wisla, and it's just the confidence they needed. They go quite quickly into that A side. They rely on at least those couple of kills from Jedka to flow them forward. They compete together out to this temple position. PHR even ends up finding a triple, and Wisla, they get their 9th.
Steadfast and quick there from Wisla. Krakow straight up and out into Donut and wasting no time dispatching of the Sinners side. That second tap for Jedka still gives me goosebumps. And if only there was some better shots like that over on the Sinners side. Unfortunately, the heads didn't come presenting towards them. Everyone fell down pretty effectively, and again, that will be pistol game for Wisla Krakow. Exactly what they want to be seeing here at this T-side line, because you can imagine when Sinners get going on CT side, that's where things fall apart.
Yeah, so building up as much of an early lead as possible is going to be vital with Wisla. Really want to try and see if they can take this to map 3. And Neofrag, 3, and 13. You don't expect those kind of numbers for a guy at this caliber.
Yeah, we highlighted him in the head-to-heads. We mentioned him as second in command to the likes of Oscar. Here he is, not having a definitive game. Kind of the guy that you want to be looking at as well to really pick up the slacks when Sinners are back on the back foot. And the fact that they're on the back foot, he's still only found 3 picks. Well, that's disconcerting to say the least here. Damage is being done by Beastic, who he himself has been a beast at certain points, but not enough to get the kill this time.
And they have got some numbers down at this site. Oscar thinking about another boost up to see if he can get this scout involved. It is Goofy being the first one to fall. The trade comes in quickly. Zeko comes into the mix, and these Eagles are doing good work. There's now rifles that can get picked up, and Wisla go, well, B is not open, so let's not go there anymore. Let's go back over to A.
Neither's that open, though. Shots in the back of the site ahead of the stack. Will get back out towards the main entrance and try and smoke off the donut angle. Scout of Oscar takes face in against the player out candles. That's Jedka. AK in, looks for Neofrag. Next spots and burst fire. Can't get the kills against him either. Now turning back in towards Oscar. Finally the kill comes in. Deagle a shock now. Left to hold against them all. Back turn towards the A lane. Marcos leaning in with the Galil. That's the bomb on his back as well. Spotted. Great shot. Neofrag comes in with support. Back of candles at CT spawn, and Sinners still the second.
Yeah, excellent round. Wisla just getting caught in the util. You can see PHRs moving forward, and there's just so many distractions being pulled. There's CTs everywhere, even for Shock. Notice the repositioning around that default position. He's actually in front of it, so that exposes the angle, or at least he keeps him as covered as possible from that temple position or from the wraparound from CT spawn, trying to isolate that 1v1 onto the donut position. Sinners thinking about a run boost into lane, gonna get Oscar up. There is one player in elbow that's watching for this.
Doesn't last long though. Oscar gets his kill. Neofrag follows suit in towards lane. As the Goofy's out there, the SMG B-Stick struggles to get that trade. Might be better for him to fall back out of position. There's rifles for Goofy to play with. I think the MP9 knows. The B-Stick is rotating away. B-site now under his domain. The T's will grab that weapon, a Galil in the hands of Goofy, but a 4v3 for Sinners.
This is a difficult one to recover for Wisla. You don't really have much util. You don't really have the best of weaponry, and you're down by 1, and, well, this is pretty much claims it, isn't it? Shock just aggressing out from mid, sees that lane player, knows exactly where that bomb's being dropped. Goofy has to try and go for the swing. PHR's now here to try and deliver a completely unwinnable clutch. This is going to be Sinners tying up.
SMG into B-Stick will hold here ahead of Cheetah. Galil in. Burst fire sprays through the AKs. There's one good kill at least for PHR. Won't last long here though. Oscar on the wraparounds. Gets his kill back. Hold on to one Galil, one AK. Sinners with a 9th round to equalize against Wisla once again. And this force buy probably turns into an eco now for the T's.
Yeah, you can imagine so. Light eco, I reckon just a Glock round. Just a single P250 at most is probably all they're going to be able to manage, because they just don't have the funds, and they don't even invest into that. So just Glocks across the board, and the knife that goes into the back of PHR. We'd love to see that. Your favorite, Jay?
Yeah. So it's an eco, so I can be a little bit more lenient towards it, because obviously it is not an important round, but it still is never great.
Never likes it.
No. Beastic press forward, though. SMG needing to clean house against the T-side line, and probably should be able to do so to certain decent effect. It's going to clear out towards the B doors, and it's all a case of numbers and how many players are going to face Beastic at the same time. How many can they feed one by one, or how many can they isolate one by one? Ditching out damage for now. A resmoke on for the CT line, and just blind fire ahead of it, hope to catch a kill.
Yeah, PHR is waiting for a very aggressive move from one of the CTs in elbow or in A main. You don't really see this position being held all that often. It's pretty clever, though. You've got a Glock round, so you're probably expecting at some point Sinners are going to get antsy and they're going to over-aggress. And he's so covered in T-spawn that maybe that play might come through. At least Neofrag wants to aggress the doors.
Gets his 2 kills for it. SMG still trying to find some sort of pick back here, but Beastic does find Spirit in the end. Making a bit of damage for it, though, so the long-range engagement's working better for the Glocks than they do the MP9. Gets in that corner and waits for more T-side contact. It's Neofrag playing bait and switch. Kill found. Ah, the old face. They get the kills. Neofrag, quadra found. 10 to the border Sinners. They have the lead above Wisla. 1 pistol gain. Since then, it's been all of the CT forces. Sinners in full control.
It's almost like I'm getting deja vu from the early sequence of the second half of Overpass. How we got into a state where it seemed as if it was a very good first half from the Sinner side, and then 7 rounds in a row come through from Wisla. Now, we might not exactly have that to a mirror image. It just seems as if now Sinners on their map pick could be able to develop a strong streak now that they've got money and momentum on their side.
I'm starting to run out. Up here in the nades and the smokes on Sparrow. Tied up initially to the M4 of Neofrag, just blind firing ahead of wallbangs and ahead of the smokes. Just damage being done to both sides, though. Fortunately for Sinners, the damage is on Beastic and nobody else, and he's the SMG player, so they can rely on the rifles just to hold their own.
Yeah, you would imagine so. And even for Shock, they don't need to have a mid player because he's watching out in case there's a walk to get into that Candles position. Something that him himself was actually doing quite a lot in that first half. More counter utility going down to the Cave and Cheetah angle to connect the 2 positions. Wisla, I don't really know what's going on here. It's very difficult to read where that bomb's going to end up. You've got a couple of lurks still out in elbow and A. It seems like it's finally going to be a just back over to the B site, and Sinners, they actually might start thinking about rotating away.
30 seconds. Smokes down, Neofrag. M4 in hand, small gap at the left-hand side of the smoke. AK is turned around to by Goofy. Oscar with a pick on bomb plant will be denied by a jumping M4. He actually gets bailed out by Goofy, who gets both those kills. Shock with a trade back in a 3-on-3. Backup is slow to arrive here for Sinners. One man still coming in from Candles, and Jedko swings out to the back corridor. Zedko caught. Oscar responds 2-on-2. Both players in the right lane. They're going to be challenged by Shock, who's such low HP. The Galil might have to do it all here. He's caught up by the AK instead. So Shock, low as he is, still finds his headshot in the midst of that smoke, trying to bait in. He knows that Goofy somewhere in that back lane again. Kit's on him. Diffuse got to get stuck with the smoke going down. Shock's been seen though, and Goofy lines up his 4K, lines up the 10th round for Wisla.
Yeah, Goofy putting in work. 4K to come in from him, and Sinners, yeah, they deny that bomb from going down. Goofy on the side is able to find a lot of impact. I don't even know if he saw that next player, because I'm pretty sure, what was it, Neofrag jumped over the top to deny that bomb. The teammate that was actually underneath him, a Beastic, fell just before Neofrag actually died.
Wisla get away with a steal round there. Sinners still looking to hold their own with the rifle rebuy. Again, SMG's in. Neofrag aggressing so far forward, but it's him and Beastick that fall so quickly. Once again in lane at ramp, PHR catching Zedco, and the aggression from Sinners is being punished now.
Just running out of default for Wisla, waiting for over-aggression, and it comes out everywhere. Into lane, out to A main, and from there, the round's pretty much over. They can even face onto an aggressive AWP of Oscar. Shock, I don't really see much of a way that he can hold any defensive on this A side. Wisla, this should be an easy 11 from them, and even the AWP missing the chance of doing any further damage.
Smokes on, the bomb plant should be secured. Shock. We'll get Jedka at least. Second kill on Marcos is alright, but not ready for PHR. Had that third kill coming, giving it a bit of breathing room to get in the clutch, but 11 rounds to the board of Vista. They're back in the lead again. And Sinners right now needs to take a moment to say, right, stop over-aggressing. Let's hold the defensive, because that's been working the best for us so far. Every time we push, we get punished now.
Yeah, definitely. Just holding back or finding a way to use more utility with those aggressive moves is something they will be thinking about. And Wisla, even though their T-sides haven't been great in the past, knowing that you're up 11-10 on T-side, you're up against an Eco, this looks really promising for the Poles.
Mac 10 in, spray through, Shock does find one Deagle kill in, Oscar.
Oh no.
Actually providing support alongside Zedco, trades are decent enough for the T-side line, Oscar, another good kill, dropping the bomb at 3-on-2. And Deagle still on the offsite here, they'll engage in against Shock, Jedka trying to face up close against Beastick. Deagle trying to find the off angle. Will Jedka be ready for this? Bomb plant could be secure, but Jedka's expecting, trying to bait in the last CT player. The flick from Beastick's good. Marcos in a 1v3, facing upon. Deagle going to spam through that smoke. They do catch Beastick off, but now the USP on the backstab. Can't hold on. Now it's all on Shock to clutch this here for this and make this eco work out, but such low HP should enable the M4 to close it out, keep it under control for Wisla. 4 casualties taken in that round though. Sinners gained so much from so little.
Yeah, thought I jinxed it there for a moment. Thought that eco was really going to come in because they did a lot of damage out to the main players. And as soon as Beastic catches off that temple angle, you think, right, 1v3 for Marcos, it's going to be difficult. And he holds his own. He's able to keep them into the map and make sure they're not getting reset off the back of an eco. Sinners would feel as if that round was theirs and then just got taken away.
Rebuy back in for Sinners, trying to force the issue on Vista. They can win this round. They can still reset the T side. Gain control back. Goofy dropping to Zedco. Turn away from Jedka, who can respond towards it. Shock there with his own casualty, his own kill in this round. Looking at PHR to line up against the AWP. Marcos, one responsive. His backup is so far away, though. The late lurk from Sparrow will only get back here. The Orpheal battle missed out by both players. Oscar can try and take presence and hold down the defuse. The bomb plant will be stuck for now.
Yeah, the problem is Marcos, his teammates are so far away. We knew that Sparrow was the lurk early round into lane, and they would have gathered that information too. Sparrow trying to see if he can isolate the 1v1s. They don't have an idea he's coming out from main.
M4, wrap in, see Sparrow, just take his time, no need to engage. Go for the kill. And hold it confident to hold the round for Sinners, and that is reset condition. No bomb plant, no bonus. Force buy for Wisla.
And I don't want to say it's punishment, but it kind of is of how much they lost to the eco. You have a look at that previous round and think to yourself, we almost had a round that Sinners got out of the bag. And then, okay, it doesn't happen, fair play. We go into the next and we win it. Now, Wisla, what have you got? Double eco status, right? You're going to buy it up. This is a chance here for Sinners to not only take the situation into a 12-12, but actually build it up into a lead.
Opportunities abound here. Wisla forcing the issue. 1 AK in. Smokes on against the incendiaries. 2 players back here at Wood. Spam through. They will catch Beasting. Go for the knives as well. They expect there might be another player back there, or do they? 2 kills. They think they're safe. They might think wrong. Neo frag. Gonna let the bomb go down. That's bonus money here. Zedco with a couple of kills. Jedka with a responsive, and now the smoke will finally clear as Neo frag sees them both. Taps up 2 versus 2. 1 player in K being chased down by Shock. They might be aware of that individual making his move in. The AK out on the center of the site. There's no defuse kit. for Shock. Neofrag has got to be the man to go for it here. Shock leaning closer. Sparrow caught out the corner. AK facing Neofrag's flank. Does work for the Sinners. Casualties are plenty sure, but it's 12 all to the board.
Mate, they had a double entry. They did so much right. Jenko Goofy finds picks, and when Jenko pulls his knife out, to me, it felt as if he had a realization there could have been another player there. I guess you never see a double wood stack, do you? And because that kill comes in and there's no further spray, there's no further bullets, you just overlook the position. That was such a sick round for Neofrag, and he got grouped up with his teammate too to help him out.
And the damage being done to Sinners means Wisla are going to force buy again, so a confident round is still up for the Sinners to get the full-on reset. Flashes in, AWP out of dodge. Flick on, misses out the first play. He's going to double dip, though. That might be a bad move, and indeed he agrees. Molotov to force him back as the T's gain lane control, but they press onto the B site, and AK and Neofrag back out towards Wood. He might not be needed. Beastie gets his kill. Smokes on, flashes over Neofrag, trying to evade all the bullets, wait for backup to get back here. Swings out wide as PHR with his Mac 10 frag and a 4-on-3. Wisla have the site and have the man advantage, but there's such low HP. Trades are so good for Sinners, but as kills continue to pour in for the T side, it's Oscar that retreats and Shock is left at doors.
That Mac 10 just running straight in, and now Oscar in Shock. What can he really do? Try to even get a pick out for this lane position. Oscar was already thinking about saving. I don't even know why the M4A1S even went for that position. When you've got Oscar already backing off, you've got to save your weapons, not looking for more.
And these rounds are devolving into absolute chaos from Wisla. Such fast play, Sinners can't keep pace, and I guess that is par for the course. We saw a similar style being exploited over on Sinners' half. It will be 13 to the board of Wisla, again defending the lead, again doing their best to try and tip Ancient to their favor. And it is quite surprising as well. At the start of the map, we said you don't win against Sinners on Ancient. Hold on. Oh, Orb stays in. Oscar's a little bit lucky on that front. We were saying at the start of that, we don't win against Sinners on Ancient, but here they are, still not only holding it close, but holding a lead above the CT side. Money's not great. There's going to be a force involved for them, but they need to get another win soon.
It's going to come down to the economy game, without a doubt, in these late stages. Both teams trying to reset one another. Who's going to wreck the economy first? Well, at least going into round 26, you've got a weak economy from Sinners, and it had to force them on double eco status. Has to buy it up. Neofrag thinking about making an aggressive move in from lane. No trade available for the T's. Neofrag could get caught up by Jedka, and indeed he does.
And again, the aggression from Sinners works out well for the interim, but it's traded back and responded to the man advantage for Wisla. They've tried this strategy over and over again. It's been so hit and miss. More miss than it's been hit. Now where do we go from here? Orp out on one. Does find a pick in on Goofy at least. That's one casualty. Back over towards Donut, but a 3-on-3 scenario and a Deagle and an SMG upgraded to an M4 at least for B-Stick. They need more than that though, and Zedco does aggress, but this time he wins it out.
That's such a great fight to be able to win forward, and doesn't even aggress even more to recover that rifle. Just play the numbers, play the 3v2 advantage, and for Wisla, you might just have to go back for the B exec. And now for Sinners, they don't have a kit, so you're probably thinking for B-Stick, getting a 1-for-1 fight and trying to make sure that bomb isn't going down is the best way to play this, just because they can't really retake.
We'll go back in towards this A site where the dealer Zedco is the only thing holding. I think he's placed behind one of the big boxes. He's watching in for main mostly. He's also got his eyes set over towards that donut position. He's got to take a first pop shot and get out of dodge. Escape the angle. Molotov's in. CT players will make their way up and out. Zedco, not going to get Molotov out here, actually. This could be pretty massive. Shots out! No! He doesn't deny the bomb plant. Oscar can't get the orb shot up close. Reface back in against Jedka. Gets the no-scope on Marcos. And there we go. Sinners again come back to evens 13 all. Wisla stuck the bomb plant in, though. There's another buy up for the T side.
And that should have been the bomb being denied, for sure. That Deagle making a whiff, and for a moment there, you bite your teeth, aren't you? You're thinking to yourself, is this really going to happen? And from there on, Oscar has to show up in a huge way. 2 kills coming in, even a no-scope onto the last. Zedco, probably one of the easiest of fights he could have asked for. Doesn't quite happen. Oscar even whiffs that first shot and then capitalizes. Gets a couple more. That bomb plant, though, actually allows Wisla to get a decent buy-in to round 27.
Don't know if you noticed the numbers, by the way, for Sinners. Oscar's on 32 frags. His teammates are down at 15 and 16 each.
Yeah.
He is hard carrying in this game, but finally, Zedco steps up to the table alongside Neofrag. The two first casualties go the way of the CT side. Marcos can get one to respond, so it'll be a 4 versus 3. But on 9 HP, he stands, and the AWP of Oscar is next to receive.
Yeah, Oscar's not backing off, is he? He's still holding this aggressive sightline on A main, and it means the flashes have to be perfect if they want to entry out. And instead, they're falling away. Now, Oscar's not hearing anything for a considerable margin of time. He might start thinking about making an info play. Maybe he doesn't have to, because Neofrag's aggressing mid.
M4 watching, Marcos leaving some smokes. Back here in the A-site commitment, trying to sell the idea on a fake, perhaps.
Yeah.
He's still got that smoke in his hands and the one ahead of him. He'll wait for his teammates to rotate out towards the B side, but they're taking lane here. So depending on how far they extend, could depend on how much this play works out for them. If they catch Jedka especially. M4 swinging up, Goofy, seen first. That's a great kill, and that throws the whole plan into motion. They've got to commit now. Flash is over. One player at the back of the site, AK waiting. Bomb plant's open for him. He gets his kill, doubles up. That's round done. Marcos, 9 HP in a dream. That will not come true.
Absolute perfection on how he plays that. He's the only player on B to defend, working with the time, working with the sound cue, swinging out, being able to find both of those isolated fights. And now for Marcos, you're just begging that you can hold on to this AK after time, because for the CTs, they could aggress this.
Flashes, one good kill back. Marcos escaped. Do they chase him? They do. They don't extend all the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's smart, I reckon.
14-13. Sinners now back in the lead, but with the way this back and forth has turned, you can imagine that Wisla are going to catch up and probably get to overtime again.
Yeah, they're in an odd state, aren't they? Because they've got that AK almost as a hero. They can't really force around it. This could be something quick again. Just rush it in, try and get that AK in for as much damage as possible.
It worked well last time. Nades in, SMG close. Flashbangs do dish out a little bit of blindness to the T sideline. It's Oscar that gets damaged up first and foremost. Deagle in, can't hold on. Shot needs support from Neofrag, and he gets his 2 kills now. M4 swings, bomb gets dropped, and indeed Wisla able to deal with it. Sinners catching them off guard. Last player in Espero falling to the CT side. So despite those fast players in from the T side line, again Sinners find their way up with a quick counter play and making it a bit too complicated for Wisla. Might cost them this map in this series.
You speak about some of the numbers that Oscar's posting. Remember, Neofrag was 3 kills, 3 assists, and 13 deaths. What a turnaround this second half has been from him. Of course, Oscar was performing on both first half and on the second. It's some of the other players being able to provide assistance.
Again, it's the reason we highlight him as player of the team. And Neofrag. And they get another good kill in. Double up on PHR. And now he shows that increase in performance, that step up in form in this round as 2 casualties are taken by the T side. Sparrow can get 1 trade on shot, but Zedco's now chiming in against him. So Goofy and Marcos, last 2 players left, and Neofrag does see where Goofy is. Goofy can adjust towards the man, but a 3-on-2 advantage for Sinners.
Yeah, touching nose like Eskimos there down in that elbow position. And hey, there's a chance forward for Wisla. They want to try and see if they can bait in another mistake. Goofy's got the B site completely open. The only problem is, how does that bomb get there with Beasting aggressing?
Oh, SMG might get caught off by the Galil at the range. His back's turned. He's missed him. The timing's so perfect. If you can sit back here at water, though, they know that that bomb was in the spawn area. I think the contact from, I believe it was Zedco, may have seen him, may have caught him. The linchpin element for Wisla, the thing that will bail him out of this round is going to have to be Goofy. He's all the way back at the A site on the flank. 40 seconds to get it together, though.
Yeah, Marcos needs to get both these picks. That's an absolute necessity. Even the AWP, how do you pre-aim his position? He might go back into elbow.
Oh, Marcos sees one. He doesn't see the second, though. Zedco trades it. Incendiary on the bomb. 20 seconds, and now Goofy's going to engage. And so long as Beasting stays alive, I think they've won it. And he don't even need to stay alive. Zedco just wins the fight straight up. And it will be 16-13. A battle and a half for Sinners in this series. But they get it in 2-0 fashion as they take over pass and take